many years ago, they put up a poster of what we call Type Man. You know, the guy who's sitting there with 2 bags of groceries or whatever, and the tanks are coming at him. Now, I had never seen, that's the iconic picture from the Tiananmen Square event. I had never seen the video of it, where the tanks move and he moves and the tanks move. And that was just so remarkable to me. And I think your film, I mean, as a historic document, I think it's just incredible. I've never seen something that seems so authentic and genuine about an event like that from a person who lived with it in such a key, intimate way. And I think a message that he gives at the end and that your film gives is so important. And that is a regime like, and it's a wake-up call for all of us, a regime like the Communist Party is trying to suppress spiritual belief in people. And as he went on and, he became a Christian pastor, and then you showed the Falun Gong. And I know we all know stories about the Tibetan Buddhists and the underground Christians in China. And I think the message is respect for the divine is after the need to live and breathe and have oxygen is probably the most fundamental need of human beings. And certainly, I think in the Chinese culture, that's just a fundamental basis. And the one thing that disturbs me most about what China's trying to do now is it's trying to wipe out that kind of religious belief. And I think it's bound to fail if the oldest things we find on the planet, when you go into the pyramids, when you go into the tombs in Babylon and ancient tombs in China, you find the statues to the sun god or the moon god or whatever it is that they are worshiping. That belief is so fundamental in people. And I don't think the Communist Party can ever wipe it out. I don't think they'll succeed in the end, but I think they can do a lot of damage in the meantime, as we saw from this gentleman. So that's a very important takeaway I have here. It was wonderful to see him speak from his heart that way. And thank you so much. This is a fabulous thing you have, and I hope we can show it to more and more people. And thank this event for letting you show it.
In Japan, I come from Japan, and I used to have many Chinese students who is ignorant of Tiananmen Square incident. And I was wondering how they feel if they have a look at this or watch this movie, and how they react and get motivated to act for the further future. So this is my question: is it any possibility to show them to overseas students living in US or Japan or in Europe? Or is it possible to film it in the Chinese continent or Taiwan?
For showing such a rich documentary, my name is Anxi Liu. I'm a visiting assistant professor. Chinese diasporic narrative, especially the discourse that's focused on the past, like cultural illusion, Tiananmen Square incidents. I wonder, do you think we have already formulated this epistemological deadlock that when we discuss some social issue, especially the issue that have been historically ignored or marginalized inside the PRC, such as human rights, we can only discuss that outside the PRC. And when we, when I do some research about Chinese diasporic literature that portray those Chinese suffering, Chinese trauma, we do have many scholars say, okay, they are selling this trauma in an Orientalist manner. So I want to know what your thoughts on that. And the second question is more about the Tiananmen's protest per se, is because I was born in the 90s, I have never experienced the Tiananmen Squares myself, where I have never heard of that when I was in China. So I wonder, do you think why this student-led pro-democracy movement they have lots of supporters, but why it didn't access a wider public, like in other cities or other group. It's just a student-led protest. Do you think because they're living this liberal bubble back to that time? So I have these two questions. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Very good question. So I don't think this is an old issue with trauma. He didn't talk about trauma. He's leading you to make a realization, to awakening like him. Trauma is not gonna touch people, but his film really made many people cry.
Oh yeah, just adjust your question. At that time, because I was in China, yeah, that's not just happened in the Beijing, even the Tiananmen Square is happened everywhere along the country. Yes, even every major city, they have this kind of protest. Just a lot of people just focus on Tiananmen Square, but really it's happened around the country. And even after the 4th June, the second day, maybe the 5th or 6th, there are still some protests in the other cities.
Please join me again in thanking Lillian for sharing her time.